Hello everybody, it's Bring Our Birds Home. We're at the National Transport and Toy Museum in Wanaka, South Island, New Zealand, the home of Bring Our Birds Home. With me is Jason Rhodes, fellow trustee. Hi Jason, how are you?
All good.
And of course the owner of the National Transport and Toy Museum. Behind us is an original NAC Air New Zealand F-27-100 ZK-BXH. She's a fine machine, Jason.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's just nice to see it sort of in the livery and things like that. The enjoyment it's bringing to everyone as they come through is just endless.
And this aircraft is one of the original in the F-27 fleet, delivered late 50s through to the early 60s, and it's great that it's here preserved here in Wanaka, along with the other artifacts that have been gathered along the way. A huge amount of cars, trucks, buses, fire engines, cranes, you name it, and an ever-increasing aviation collection, Jason.
Yeah, we've sort of still got a few more that we've got tucked away that we're pulling out year by year. A few in restoration that we're doing at the same time, but there's always projects being worked on.
Yeah, and of course, if you've been following Bring Our Birds Home, you'll know that we have the Banderanti ERU here. I think the first delivered to Eagle Air of Waikato, as it was back in the day, later to go on with Air New Zealand Link. And of course, if you've been out to the Chatham Islands, you've probably flown on that Convair, right?
Yeah, once again, a great one to have. You know, the stories we have just day after day of people that have flown it, flown on it, had freight taken out there. It's just an endless story.
Yeah, I've flown on that one, and what a machine. Gets along real fast, or used to. And what a history, and you can look into that history on the museum's website. Now, we're here to tell you about where we are at DC-8 ZK NZC at Manaus, Brazil. Again, if you've been following Bring Our Birds Home, well, for the last 7 years now, you'll know the story behind that. Jason and I visited the aircraft 4 years ago. We got to know the folk, and since then, things have been moving in fits and starts, but we've made a lot of progress along the way. We actually own it, Jason.
Yeah, it's great. You know, once again, the stories we're getting back on a daily basis, because different ones have heard all around the world and have visited here. You know, it's one of those things, people love to see the effort that's going into trying to preserve these things, because someone has to do it, and we're just trying to drag everyone else along, because look, they just love the stories.
Yeah, and there are great stories behind that aircraft, and we'll be telling you some of those as we go through. And of course, it's our total aim to have it displayed here at the museum at some point, and that's where you'll see all the stories. But right now we want to tell you that we're at quite a crucial junction in this story, right? We own it, and that took 7 years. Now we need to have it dismantled. We need to have it stored locally before we can work on the big project of bringing it home. So we are calling on our base now to swing in behind and help us do that.
Yeah. So the idea is, look, we've got to start somewhere with this. We want to start at the grassroots, because it's the grassroots that's got us to where we are. And yes, we're constantly will be looking for the bigger sort of donors, but what we'd like to see from the people today is just a little bit, but a little bit from everybody that will make this project really happen.
We have 7,000 followers on Facebook. We have not so much on X, but growing, Instagram as well. And really, what we are thinking, folks, is that if we can bring that huge base, and it's a big base, built up over years, swinging in behind us now, we can dismantle that DC-8 jet. We can have it stored locally, not too far away from the Manaus airport property. And then we will have the ability to go to the next level, and we've pretty well gone down that track already, right, Jason? Looking into how we can ship it, the various options available. We kind of know what we're in for.
Look, it's not a big ask on the shipping, because the plane will break down to certain components, and those components can actually be flat racked and things without too much grief. It'll be just the time and effort of getting the shipping agents and everyone, the border, this end, ready for it. There's a lot that goes into prepping an aircraft to come in via land for this sort of project. So it will be a few months of just prepping that right back through to the ones in the back end that will assist us through this trip.
Yeah. So what we are asking for now is your support to make the dismantling and storage effort possible. Now, we have a professional team lined up in Brazil who have already, and if you've been looking at our social media, you would have seen some of the pictures that we put up of the DC-8 that they have already, a Series 63, the long version, that they've already dismantled and moved off an airport property. So we have the expertise, the local knowledge, and it's ready to go. And what we're asking for, Jason, from our base, and okay, we've got 7,000 followers, not everyone is available, but a contribution in the $50 mark from multiple people will get this job done.
Well, if we all chip in that $50, that will get us well ahead on where we need to be to get stage one right through and prep for the next stage, which is the voyage down the river and then on to the ships.
Yeah. Okay, so you can do that via our Give a Little page, but also in this video you'll see below our bank account details, which will let you make a direct donation. But now is the time, folks, that we need to call upon your support. There's been a lot of heavy lifting in the background. We've put a lot of effort into it, and just to have ownership has been an incredibly complicated process, which has taken years.
It is. But it's a story once again. Look, the original owner that we've arranged, that he's actually helped us out with this project by assisting with the ownership of the plane, that we now have it in our name, has been a big, big bonus.
Yeah.
That has saved us a lot of grief.
Yeah.
You know, these people need acknowledging along the way that we're doing. And even with your donors today, look, everyone that does give, we will have your name forever enshrined on this project. And that's what we want to make sure that, look, no one's going to be forgotten, but we just need a wee bit more from you to get it that next step.
Yeah, that's very well put. So go to the Give a Little or make a direct donation. We're a registered charity, so it's tax deductible, and we can make this happen. Now, I think also it's worth pointing out that we said that we had our Pratt & Whitney engines. We had them in storage for quite some time, but we delivered. We got them home.
We have. And look, once again, many stories have been coming out over the past weeks that they've been here, that type of thing with the story. People just unbelievable that, you know, what comes out of the woodwork when you have something on site like this.
Yeah. And of course, we got those engines in anticipation for ZKNAD, which is sitting in North Carolina, and that hasn't gone away, folks. And the opportunities for that also can be leveraged off what we're asking folk to do now. Right.
We're concentrating on what is most at risk. We've seen it, if we can't act and act reasonably quick at times, we do lose out, and the history's gone. And this is what we have to make sure, this is the one that's at risk at this point in time. If we don't do what we're doing now, we will lose it. And we have to enforce that on people, is time is now, and this is what we're up to.
I spoke to a pilot of DC-8 who's now deceased, and that interview is on our Facebook page if you drill back into the history. And Jason, he said to me, and this was only about 6 months before he passed away, he said, "Son, don't give up."
Yeah, and that's what we're saying now. This is the day to start fighting.
Yeah. Thank you, Jason, and I look forward to having another tour around the museum, my visit here today, and I'll go up and pet my, well, not my, they're our, but my engines, you know.
Yeah. Oh, it's great to have them. As I say, look, the stories every day when you have an artifact out here come out of the woodwork, and these are stories that we're documenting some of the stories as we go. So they're always here, because unfortunately when people are gone and objects are gone, the stories are gone.
Exactly, it's erased.
We record it.
Yeah, we need to have the physical artifact is really where history is told, with the physical artifact. Yeah. All right, so that's where we're at the moment. Thank you for watching. I'll remind you again, $50 is a great zone to be in for a donation. If we can pull at least half of our user base into that, we are happy on getting the DC-8 dismantled, stored, and even on the way to being shipped, right?
That'll get it sort of on its way, running down the river, ready for the next ship.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your support. Keep watching for updates. Paul Brennan, Jason Rhodes, bring our birds home.